welcome everybody into another edition of the PHNX Suns post game or pregame. God, it's been a
Whoa,
long
all
day
right.
already.
Let's
The
just wrap it up already,
pregame.
Espo.
Well, hopefully you can wrap it up early when it's a Cavs game. But I am your host, Greg Esposito. Oh, hoy, hoy, joined as always by Saul Bookman. Looking a little different than usual here in our home studios, but glad to have you with us, Saul. How are you?
I'm not too bad, Espo. Not too bad. It's kind of nice to finally see what my house looks like after it feels like forever. So I'm excited to do this from home. It's almost like we're going back to old times, buddy. We're going back to the old days.
It is. You just got sick of sitting next to me. That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
At least you're being honest now. We got a game tonight coming up in just a little while. It is the Suns versus the Cavs down at the Footprint Center. And I think this is as close to a must-win game as you can have early in a season, as there is right now. The Suns sitting at 1-3, obviously struggling mightily. The Cavs come in sitting at 2-3. They played last night in LA against the Lakers. So what are you feeling for this game? To me, this feels like a massively important one for the Suns.
It's important, but we also can't overlook the Cavs. I mean, I know you feel like we can, but this isn't last year or the year before that's Cavs team. This team is significantly better than it has been in recent years. And so, they've been playing some good ball. They're 3-3 on the season, and we'll see what happens. The major thing is obviously when you're looking at DeAndre Ayton down low. He's going to have a matchup with Jared Allen that could prove to be bothersome for him, and he's going to have to step up tonight. We talked about him stepping up the other night. He's going to have to do the same thing tonight. I expect him to. I think this Suns team can run them out of the gym, but they have to play good, old-fashioned to 2020, 2021 Suns basketball.
Yeah, and apologies, I misspoke. The Cavs are 3-3 going into this, but I think you're right. This is going to come down to a few things for me. The Suns, kind of my keys to the game, if you will. The Suns have to remember visiting Sexland isn't as fun as it sounds, right? You got to make sure that Darius Garland and Colin Sexton don't go off in this game. Obviously, Sexland, what the Cavs and their social media team love to call that duo, but when those guys get hot, this offense has a lot of potential. To your point as well, this isn't the team from last year. You got to look at Lauri Markkanen, part of this group now. Evan Mobley has been playing very well for them also. There's a lot of weapons that the Cavs now have, and if the Suns come in thinking this is the same group that you could kind of sleep on, they're going to be in trouble again.
Honestly, from the 4 and the 5 position tonight, this is probably going to be one of the strongest tests for this Suns team tonight. I like Cleveland's roster. I really do. I think they got a little versatility just about at every position. You mentioned Lauri Markkanen, but I love Dean Wade. I watched Dean Wade play at Kansas State. I'm an alum, so I got to see him play several times. He can shoot from the 3. He can. He's basically a different version of Lauri Markkanen, and they can spread you out, and then they can allow guys like Sexton and Garland to penetrate because they just about every center that they have, or I'm sorry, every power forward that they have can extend the floor, and so it's going to be a handful. And the minutes that I'm more concerned about, not necessarily DA versus Jared Allen, I'm more concerned about Evan Mobley versus JaVale. Because while JaVale is serviceable, Evan Mobley ain't a joke. And he can give it to him if he really wants to. So we'll see how that ends up.
Well, and Mobley started all 6 games for the Cavs as well. So this team is big. They can play that kind of game. They also have tremendous guards. I mean, Ricky Rubio is leading them in assists at 7.2 a game as well. So you can't forget our old friend Ricky, who comes in here. This is a game where the Suns need the monsters of the midway to return. They need Chris Paul and Devin Booker to hit those shots that we became so accustomed to them hitting last year. That was not there the other night. Obviously, Chris Paul goes 1 of 10, which is very uncharacteristic for Chris Paul. They just need to get back to the game that they've been playing, or at least they played last year and were known for, and we've seen in flashes in some quarters this year.
Well, I mean, like I said, the Cleveland is a good team, and you can't overlook. I mean, they went on the road and beat Denver in Denver, and then they followed it up by beating the Clippers in LA. Like, so they're legit. The Suns, however, are a better team than both of those teams they beat, but they got to prove it on the court. We're so far we've been talking about 2020, 2021 Suns being better, but not necessarily this year's version of the Suns because they haven't looked as good. So they're 1-3 on the season. They got to rebound tonight. And more importantly than anything else, they got to stop pressing. Stop pressing and just trust your offense, trust your sets, and execute at a high level. If they do that, they should win. I would say the key identifier for tonight is can they get at least more than 25, if not 33-point shots tonight? I know that's kind of the barometer. They always look for 30 in a game. If they could pull that off, I think you would see a Suns win.
Well, if they can pull it, it's great to shoot them, but they obviously, this is analysis at the highest level. They need to make them too, which they haven't done a lot. And we actually have Cam Johnson talking about that earlier today, how the Suns need to generate more from the 3-point line.
When we generate a lot of threes, it comes from a lot of moving the ball, attacking the paint, kicking it out good to great. We were talking the other day, we haven't had many, swing threes. All of our shots seem to be contested, and we seem to be doing some one-action stuff where we're taking tougher shots than we're able to get. So when we get back to playing the way we play and finding those good looks, you'll see the shots naturally start to go in more.
Did we just get a sweet threes? Is that what Cam Johnson just said? I think Cam's.
Go ahead.
I think Cam's a listener and watcher of the show, Saul.
He might be. He's already been on it once. Maybe we'll have him back again.
He's right though. This team, when they were at their best last year, were hitting those shots from deep. I mean, they generated some good looks over the first handful of games, but they just hadn't hit them, especially the other night in that third quarter where they only scored 15 points. If their shooters can get in a groove, Cam struggled. Landry Shamit's been hesitant to shoot. Gerald and I talked about that on Friday's audio-only edition. If these guys find the rhythm, this shouldn't be a difficult game. It should be a good game. I feel it'll probably be a close game, but they should be able to win it and not feel like they're pressing like they have in the first 4 games.
Yeah, it just depends on what Cleveland team shows up. Like, again, right now, the Suns are not impressing their style upon anybody right now. And so then you start to look at the other team and how they're performing. And right now, Cleveland is playing good basketball. And their 3-3 record might tell you they're an average team. And they have lost, they lost to the Hornets, but the Hornets are surprisingly good this year. But they beat the Hawks as well. So that's, their 3 wins are against last year's either conference finals opponent or semi or second round opponent. So again, the Suns are trying to find their identity in this current year. They haven't been able to find any continuity on the court whatsoever. The big thing coming into this season, and we talked multiple times about this, was, okay, everybody's coming back. The chemistry should be there. But apparently, for whatever reason, it is not. And they're going to have to they're going to have to find it. Otherwise, they're going to burp up and choke just like I did.
You're enjoying that adult beverage a little too much.
Little Cricket Stave peach sour tonight because I hope the Cavs leave with a sour taste in their mouth.
Look, you're only about 25 minutes from me. Can you run one of those over after we finish here? Because that sounds spectacular this evening.
A cool thing about modern times, Espo, is there's a thing called a liquor store. I'm sure there's
we got any of those drive-through ones? It's got to be quick, We got to watch the game so we can talk about it after, not just be inebriated. I know it's a Saturday night, but come on. One of the things we've talked about, Saul, is it feels like the Suns have pressed a little bit, that they haven't kind of just found the flow. They've overthought a lot of things in these first 4 games. And to me, this offense is best when these guys are just reacting, not overthinking, especially guys like DA. I feel like sometimes, even with Devin, when he overthinks too much, it kind of impacts his game. Is that something that stood out to you as well?
Oh, 1,000,000%. You could see some of the 4 shots that Mikal's been taking. That would tell you. And I think with Booker, it's not necessarily pressing. I think it's more hesitation on his end. As we talked about the other night, several times he came off the screens, whether with the ball or off the ball, caught the ball, had separation from the defender, and just didn't trust it. And that just comes with repetition. You got to have that repetition. You got to be able to play against dudes over and over again to understand, like, okay, I can trust my abilities in this moment. And I think right now he's kind of experiencing a little bit of, a little delay because of his absence in training camp. So I would expect him to come around pretty quickly on that. On top of that, everybody else needs to stop pressing. And Chris Paul, if he doesn't show up tonight, we need to put out an APB because I don't know where my man went.
Well, Monty talked about it earlier today in terms of how he's going to approach trying to get these guys out of their head, and he said he's going to simplify the offense.
No, it doesn't necessarily mean you add or take away. It just means you focus on a certain part of your offensive package so guys aren't thinking as much. We like our package, and we like the continuity we've had with guys picking it up, but I think sometimes, if not all of the time, you want your players out there not thinking about plays. You want them thinking about, concepts and environments and how to be really good in that. And so it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the plays. It's like, let's focus on this area in transition, like get the ball out quick and let's go. One of our best offenses is just getting into a pick and roll. You don't have to call that. When Chris has the ball in pick and roll, like we've shown, we're pretty good. When Devin has it, we're pretty good. So you don't need a play for that. So just keeping it simple in that regard. Now we have a number of pick and roll plays that we call. So maybe that allows for us to like get down the floor quicker and generate more threes. And then we got to make them. We didn't shoot as many, but we had a number of open threes the other night. We just missed them. That's the old Jeff Van Gundy deal, make or miss league type thing.
Well, at least Monty's participating in out of context quotes, because it's always nice when the coach likes the package, Anyways, and not a man.
I was just about to say that. I was like, man, if Monty didn't cue us up for a Manscaped read, I don't know who will.
It was a great assist, but it's interesting that he wants these guys to focus on specific elements of the offense and think less and react more, because I imagine that this offense, and we've seen it over the last season, it can be complicated, has many different things that they can do within it. And I assume the assumption, that's great English, assume the assumption. I assume that when, like all of us, Monty expected these guys to come in and not really need that time to get familiar again, right? And kind of find that comfort level, because everybody except Shamet and JaVale McGee have played within this offense. But I think this postseason hangover, or whatever you want to call it, has left these guys needing to go back to the basics, just getting their mind back into this is what we do well.
Yeah, I agree. When they're executing at a high level, that ball's just popping around. They're still moving the ball, but the problem is a lot of times their ball movement is inefficient because they're passing up wide open shots, or they're setting players up in positions that, while they might be open, it's not really their shot that they're typically comfortable taking. So those are the kind of nuances that I see them trying to fix tonight, and I think they will. I have all the confidence in the world that they will. The other thing that I keep watching is players got to be more confident. They got to be more confident. And for whatever reason, the swag is all gone, and dudes are scared to take shots. You can't be scared anymore. Just chuck it. If you're open, take the shot.
Yeah, and the swag will come back. One guy that I definitely think it will happen with is of course I'm blanking. Boss man there, Jay Crowder.
Jay Crowder,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens when your computer turns off 2 minutes before the show starts and you have to find another one. You get a little flustered. Jay Crowder, I think, will come back and really show what he did on so many nights last season where he hits those threes. He brings that swagger. He gets the confidence going for the rest of the team. I see that as something that's going to happen this evening. And once that lid blows off, I think it'll cause an ease for the rest of the team.
Absolutely. Also, Mike B in the chat. Sup, fellas? Bringing it back old school. Love it. You guys rock. Saul, salute to you, sir, for you're fucking hilarious. I just made a bet with the Suns will win it, and if it all wins, it's $450 in his pocket. So Suns got this, fellas. Truly. Okay, well, cool.
If Suns win it all, so what? I want to know how much you put down, Mike, because that's not a bad bet. I like to see it.
I would assume the odds have gone down on their possible winning the championship since the start of the season. So.
I mean, I think 100% that those odds have got to be better. And speaking of odds, DraftKings is the sponsor of our show, America's #1 sportsbook app. They've got a great deal for you right now. If you sign up in that app and use the promo code PHNX, you're going to get $200 in free bets if you put $5 down on any NFL team this weekend, and that team wins. It's just that easy.
Might be put $25 to win $450.
Yeah, that's a good bet. Yeah, I think that's a sweet bet, as we call it. Tonight, Suns are favored by 10 points according to the DraftKings Sportsbook app. I made my pick of the week on Friday's episode, and I said take the Suns money line, but take the Cavs and the points tonight. I think the Suns win. I don't think they're winning by 10 or by more than 10 tonight.
You hope they have a breakout game. And I think if they have a breakout game, yeah, they could easily win by 10 or more points. But if this Cavs team is shooting the ball from three as efficient as Sacramento was the other night, then all bets are off because they can bang with you down low. They can hold their own across the court. Sexton is a dog. He's going to try and give it to Chris Paul as much as he possibly can. And we'll see how Chris handles it. So yeah. I like the bet that you made, Espo. I think that's very smart. Take the Suns, but take the Cavs and the points for sure.
I think we're looking at a 5 to 8 point win here. I'd
agree.
I think they get their groove back, but this isn't going to be a blowout in my mind. I think that
it's too bad I'm not drinking a Stella right now since you said groove back.
Just a reminder, DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. It's amazing how fast you can get your money out when you do have a win, and you can take the misses out or whoever you want out for one of those nice adult beverages. I haven't done it yet, but when I win, I will. I promise you.
Stuck in the closet. She's now skin and bones because she has never eaten off of Espo's winnings.
I'm terrible at betting is what I'm trying to tell you. But if you're good at it, we promise DraftKings is the best sportsbook app you can do. 21 and over, Arizona only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. We've got Long John Silver 85 saying a 14-point win tonight for the Suns. Sundress Dunks says Suns by 5. He agrees with what I said. Mike B telling us he actually put Murray for MVP and Cards to win it all also. So Mike, a dedicated Arizona sports fan. We love
Welcome
to hear
to
that.
The fam. Let's go, baby. PHNX.
Yeah, I love it. Let's also talk about unselfish play, right? That's been the hallmark of this team. I think at times they've been a little too unselfish in these first 4 games where they pass up the shot they probably should take and try to find somebody else, which plays into what you're talking about with confidence. But Monty Williams earlier today was actually praising the team for their unselfishness.
I think so. I think all of the guys who, like Chris deals with it. Chris is trying to make everybody happy all the time. I'm like, what? Everybody is happy. Like you have the ball. Like, but it just speaks to his integrity. He has basketball integrity. He doesn't want to go out there and just jack up shots. But I'm like, you got to play, and all of our guys kind of feel that. They try to do the right thing, but the right thing at times is shooting the ball, you know, and I think there is some feeling out going on right now, but again, that's the thinking part. We don't want the guys thinking about that. We feel like all of our guys have great intentions. DA is one of the most unselfish players I've ever been around. Yet he gets criticism for not doing this and not doing that. I'm like, what do they tell you? He's unselfish. You know, I want him to be aggressive, but that's just who he is, you know. And so, yeah, there's a feeling out, but we want our guys to play and hoop. We say let it fly. If you work on it, do it in the game.
I love Monty's attitude, let it fly. And I really hope tonight's the night that finally happens. They kind of break through and it's just, you know, chuck it. Let's see what happens. They run that 0.5 offense the way that we've enjoyed it. And let's see if they're not hitting those mid-range, though. I hope they have that tertiary way to go, because it felt like in the first few games when they've missed those shots, they don't have that extra plan. Where do they go when the offense isn't firing from the mid-range and deep, and the defense has kind of collapsed on DA in terms of pick and roll? Where does that other offense come from?
Are you asking me, or is
you.
Oh, okay? I didn't know.
What do you
seem
think?
like you're just asking, just kind of, whatever. Hey, listen.
No, this is a show where we talk back and forth. So
yeah, but we have like 5 minutes till tip. So, again, DA is going to play a pivotal part in this. If the middies aren't falling, the Suns are going to lose. Period. Like, there is no other offense. It's either DA down low or you're shooting nothing but threes if those middies are not falling. But I expect the middies to fall because they're going to try and draw those bigs away from the basket as much as possible. And I wouldn't be shocked to see DA shoot a couple threes tonight, to be honest with you.
What is your prediction for the evening before we get out of here?
I will say Suns by 5.
Suns by 5. I'll give you an actual score. I'm going to go 112-106. Suns win it.
Yeah,
so
sounds good to me.
We will be back at postgame right after the final buzzer. We'll be here for a PHNX postgame show. Gerald will join us live from the Footprint Center, breaking down everything that he hears from Coach and any players he talks to. Saul and I will give you all the instant analysis your ears and eyes can handle, and we will be back. You can follow Saul Bookman at Saul_Bookman. The underscore is there for that 6-point or 5-point win to slide nicely into. You can follow me at Espo. You can follow the show at PHNX_Suns. Make sure to join us if you're a member in the Discord.
How's that closet working out for you right now? Is it a little funky in there because you haven't used it in so long?
No, I didn't. I actually was very afraid. I had left one of the beers from chugging with in the finals in here, and I was going to have some massive funk. But no, there is not a massive funk. Just technical difficulties that I should have worked through before.
You had to blow the cobwebs off the old laptop, huh?
I did, and then had to make sure the mic was working. But yeah, you can make sure if you're a member, join us in the Discord, because it goes down in the Discord during the game. We'll be talking there, and looking forward to talking to each and every one of you after the game. Ahoy, hoy.